What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for the Super Bowl matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Bucs. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future NFL content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. If you guys want to be entered into the $25 giveaway that we do every single Friday on stream, please like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite overall play for the Super Bowl matchup. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on Draftkings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into the Super Bowl slate. Cannot wait to break it down. It's the very last matchup for the NFL, obviously, this season, so hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Right now, the over-under is at a 56. Kansas City is favored by 3 points, so guys, we should expect a very good matchup here for this Super Bowl slate. This is a showdown format, so if you guys haven't already seen all of our showdown videos, the way we do it is we go position by position, team by team. So we are going to start with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then we're going to go to the Tampa Bay Bucs on the back end of this breakdown. Starting with Patrick Mahomes at $12,000, the highest owned on the slate. I think that's pretty obvious. 48% owned. TJ, let's go ahead and pitch it to you. Is that price tag worth it for one of the potentially the highest scoring players on the slate?
I mean, yeah, Matt, I think so. You're going to want probably both of these quarterbacks in your lineup if you are probably playing cash. I think if you're playing tournaments, in this showdown slate for the Super Bowl, I think you can get a little different and only go with one of them. The ownership currently is showing on Patrick Mahomes. I think, Matt, I don't know what you have him on Fantasy Cruncher, but on Roto over here, he's showing 70% owned.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He was honestly a little bit higher owned than that, come game day. So yes, I do like Patrick Mahomes at 12K. I think it's there's going to be a lot of points scored. I would assume we got the over under at 56. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes at 12K, you can fire him up.
Yeah, so one of the things we talked about before we started this stream, TJ, was lineup construction. The one thing people get wrong usually in showdowns is that they put the QB at the captain spot, and that limits their upside because usually the top scoring player overall from both teams is a wide receiver, especially in a high scoring matchup. So putting him at the quarterback position, I'm a fan of, TJ, but only in cash and small GPP contests, not the big guys. If you're trying to win $1 million tomorrow, make sure you're entering a wide receiver or even a running back in that captain spot because usually they are the optimal captain. Kevin, do you agree with Patrick Mahomes having to be in your lineup? Is he a must?
Yeah, I think he's a must. I mean, I don't see a world where he's not, in
the
somewhere in the
sure.
somewhere. Yeah, exactly. When I did my prize picks breakdown, I was looking at a couple things. I mean, for sample sizes, I want to see how these teams have done in the playoffs so far, how they're looking, more recently. I want to see how they've been doing all year. And then obviously it's important to check their matchup when they actually played each other in the regular season. Because there's a lot of, there's good information to go off of there. And obviously Patrick Mahomes had a crazy good game during that game, high points during that game, and I think obviously a lot of that was to Tyreek Hill, but obviously he cleared 35 points that game, so you got to expect he does something similar. I don't think Carlton Davis and all these players in secondary are going to do enough. I mean, they have a great pass rush, and I know TJ alluded to before the video, you said a bunch of their linemen,
Eric Fisher being out, are
banged up, so that might feel a little more pressure from a team that already plays the pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he has two matchup-proof guys on that team. So
yeah, I think it's safe to say both of these quarterbacks are matchup-proof, and I think that's the reason why this is the Super Bowl matchup. So at the 56 over under a 3-point favorite, definitely am going to be expecting a shootout type of game. Switching over to the running back picture though for Kansas City, this is going to be a little messy because all these running backs at their price tags make for intriguing options. Kevin, I'm going to pitch a question to you. So CEH at $7,000, Darrell Williams at $5,200, or Le'Veon Bell at $800. Le'Veon Bell did not play in the last matchup, but I believe he should play in this matchup. Only $800, showing 6.9%. Are you going to be taking stabs at any one of these running backs?
It's tough. I mean, just for looking at the price and the production, I mean, all of them. I mean, I'll tell you right now, in my prize picks video, I said to avoid all of them. It just seems like a nightmare. But this is a different
reminds me of the Patriots.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and you don't know which one's going to find the end zone. I mean, CEH really hasn't been, anything that was advertised this year.
Right.
Not that, and Le'Veon Bell has been much better. Williams has had a couple spurts, I guess, for what you expect from him, where he's looked, I guess, better than expected. That being said, I can't imagine I'm going to take too much of any of these guys. I'd probably just salary save, move it somewhere else. It's just consistency issues, and obviously the Bucs run D is amazing, probably the best run D in the NFL in my opinion.
All right, TJ, do you agree with that? Are you taking stabs at any one of these guys in cash?
In cash, probably not, Matt. With Eric Fisher being out, like Kevin and I kind of alluded to a little bit, that is going to be tough there for that Kansas City offensive line. So I expect a lot of pressure from that Tampa Bay front four. When we look at last game in the conference championship for Kansas City, it looks like CEH got 49% of the offensive snaps, and then Damian Williams actually played 46% of the offensive snaps, and that was obviously without Le'Veon Bell, pitcher, who played 16% of offensive snaps in the divisional round. So I think in tournaments, I'm going to take stabs to these guys. I'd probably like Damian Williams, honestly, if it's virtually going to be a split between him and CEH, especially at salary relief. Oh, sorry, Darrell Williams, excuse me. I don't know why it says it says Damian Williams on lineups.com, and I knew I was reading that wrong, but I was like, am I missing something here? Yes. So Darrell Williams. Thank you, Matt. I would go with Darrell Williams at 5,200 opposed to CEH if I am taking one of these guys, because it is $1,800 cheaper, and I think virtually the snap count could potentially be the same. Right. If anything, Darrell Williams might lose a couple offensive snaps here and there to Lev Bell, but I still like the upside there at 5,200. But I have a lot more interest on the Bucs running backs opposed to the Chiefs.
Right. I think it's going to come down to lineup construction, most importantly, because Le'Veon Bell at $800 could be a very good play, especially if you're trying to get in the studs from the wide receivers and tight end picture of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you could slide them in there to save, a lot of salary. And if Le'Veon Bell finds the end zone, well, then more power to you. So I do think the running back picture, like I said, is going to come down to lineup construction. If I had to pick one, I agree with you, TJ. I think Darrell Williams is going to be the more appealing option at $5,200, with both the snap counts being the exact same, essentially. Switching over to the wide receiver picture, Tyreek Hill, obviously 41.7% owned, definitely cash viable. Hardman at 13.1%. Sammy Watkins right now is questionable. If he is held out, that gives a massive boost to guys like Pringle and Demarcus Robinson. So TJ, let's assume that Sammy Watkins does play right now. I guess we can talk about both scenarios. Who are you going to have interest in here from the Chiefs and at the wide receiver position? Because they have a ton of options.
Yeah, so if Sammy Watkins is in, I think I would primarily go with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. If Sammy Watkins sits, I think I would sprinkle in some Mecole Hardman and some Byron Pringle in there. But, my main focus is going to be trying to get both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in there. I mean, look, that's those two guys had 26 of 38 targets last game against the Bills. I fully expect that to continue, especially here in the Super Bowl against the Bucs. So, yeah, I'm going to do everything in my power to get Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in my lineups. And again, if Sammy Watkins is in, obviously. If Sammy Watkins is out, then, I'll take some stabs on guys like Byron Pringle, who played 80% of offensive snaps against the Bills. So that's obviously a really good number. He had 5 targets, which was more than Mecole Hardman. So, yes, I would have some interest there in Pringle if Sammy Watkins is out as well.
Kevin, you agree with that?
Yeah, I like that. I like Hardman too, as TJ alluded to. I mean, Hardman's got big play potential. He's fast. They always use him in different kind of sets. They give him end arounds, a couple rushes here and there. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely like. I think Hardman has potential, like TJ said, especially if what's his head sits. But it's interesting. I think Tyreek Hill is still going to be that one. I mean, I don't know how banged up is Watkins right now.
Right now, his calf is questionable for Super Bowl, upgraded to a full participant in Friday's practice. So I think he's going to play. Yeah, I think he should play.
I'm wondering, my question is, like, do you take Hardman over him anyway? Like, if he plays?
Like, at $5,600,
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
I think the most obvious choice, though, for cash is going to be Tyreek Hill or Kelce or both. I think those are your main options.
I'd consider, I mean, if Sammy's going to play and he's good to go, like at 4,200, I'd probably take some stabs at him too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's a really price tag. I think I'd rather go him over Mecole Hardman if Sammy's good to go.
Yeah, just taking a look at ownership, it's a huge drop. You go from 41.7% to 13.1, 16.6, 4.9, and 8.8 across the board. So if one of those guys catches a touchdown, well, they're the slate breakers, and at that ownership, nobody else is going to have them. So
that's bees.
Yep,
the slate breakers.
So let's switch over to the tight end position. Just Travis Kelce we'll talk about here. 40% owned, cash option. Yes, guys, I think we'll both agree there.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, let's move on from there. Kickers. So let's talk about kickers. Butker right now is 15.7% owned. If this does become a kicking type of affair, which can happen, and especially when teams are driving up into the field as efficiently as these two teams are, $4,000, you can easily slide him into your lineup. I think it's a great salary saver, and usually I do prefer kickers from the winning teams because the teams that are trying to come back, i.e. the Bucs probably in this matchup, it doesn't favor their kickers. So Butker, definitely a good option for a salary saver. Definitely cash viable for a last piece. However, don't start with kickers. They do limit your upside. And then last but not least, let's switch over to the Tampa Bay Bucs at the quarterback position. Tom Brady, only $10,000, so $2,000 cheaper than Patrick Mahomes. Kevin, are you going to be trying to get both of these quarterbacks into your lineup regardless for cash?
For cash,
yeah,
I probably will. Just because it's still. Tom Brady had a good game against him when they played earlier in the season. He's still, slinging the ball, and granted his goal is to win games. I definitely avoided him more in prize picks. I think he was predicted at 21 points. I don't know if he's going to hit much over that. He hit, I think, 27 the first time these guys played. That being said, it's cash. It's two quarterbacks. I'd probably take both.
Yeah, if the game script's going to go any way of getting close to 56, well, Tom Brady's going to be scoring a lot of those points. TJ, do you agree with playing him in cash?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to do my best to get both him and Mahomes in my cash lineups. Brady, I think, is very interception prone. I think we could see, one or two picks to the Kansas City secondary. But even with that being said, I think he's going to throw a couple touchdowns here and there. So yeah, I do like Brady, especially at 10K. I think I'd make Mahomes more of a priority if I can only fit in one, but in cash, I'm going to do my best to get both of those guys for sure. 100%.
Yep. I completely agree with everything you just said. Let's switch over to the running back picture here. TJ, I'll go ahead and start with you here. We have Fournette, who has been taking the main role here for the Bucs at $7,800, 26.5%. He's teetering on the line between a cash or GPP option. That ownership is very scary. It could make or break you. So at $7,800, are you a fan of him? And if so, or if not, why?
Yeah, no, I do like Leonard Fournette, Matt, here. At 7,800, that price tag is pretty expensive. Him and Ronald Jones last week, or 2 weeks ago, against the Packers, virtually split carries. Fournette had 12. Ronald Jones had 10. Fournette, obviously, way more efficient, running for 55 yards and a touchdown. He also played 69% of snaps compared to... where did I just go? Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is not even, Matt, this lineups.com is trash. They don't even have Ronald Jones' snap count on here.
That's how bad he was. They don't even need them.
Yeah, 70% of offensive snaps. Going up against a really susceptible Chiefs defense that ranked 31st in DVOA against opposing running backs all year. So this is a team that you can 100% run against. Willie Gay is out, one of their starting linebackers as well for the Chiefs. So yes, I do like Fournette at 7,800. He's probably going to be my favorite tournament play. I don't know if I'll get him in, my main one cash line. But for tournaments, I'm going to be very overweight on a guy like Fournette, especially if he's only showing around 25% ownership. And
one last guy, LaShawn McCoy technically did play 3 and 2% of snaps in the past 2 games. So if you guys want to take a stab at him, he's $600. So that's going to be because of lineup construction only. So Kevin, I know you're a fan of Fournette. What are your thoughts here in cash games for Leonard Fournette?
I love Leonard Fournette. I'm a big fan. I think he's playing, like the best.
He is playing very well.
Been playing like the best running back in the playoffs so far. On any team. I think he got back to his pass catching form. That's where he's deadliest, and that's where we're seeing him used. I will say that price discrepancy between him and Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is still getting double-digit attempts. He's still getting double-digit attempts. You got to think there's a chance he finds the end zone. So I'm going to throw some darts in GPPs. I'm probably going to take some Ronald Jones as well. Yeah,
$2,200, another great salary saver. So I do like him here, 13.5%, which is also very GPP worthy. Not so much for cash. You're going to take probably the guy you're going to ride the hot hand here with Leonard Fournette. All right, moving on to the wide receiver position. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. Pick any one of them. They are all really closely owned here. Chris Godwin, 32%. Mike Evans, 30.3%. Antonio Brown, 21.1%. But Antonio Brown is questionable. Is that correct, guys?
Yep.
Okay. So if he does play at $6,200, does become an intriguing price tag. We have Godwin at $8,800 and Mike Evans $8,400. We're used to seeing those guys at such similar price tags all the way throughout the regular season. So let me start with you, Kevin. Pick one of these wide receivers. Who are you picking?
I mean, in cash and GPPs, I'm thinking like Godwin. I'm probably going to avoid AB in all formats, to be honest. He's banged up. He doesn't have the highest ceiling. I mean, you look at his games, he had one super big game against Atlanta, but again, there's a lot of reasons for that. Aside from that, I mean, we're talking about people who can break the slate. Mike Evans is more than capable of getting over 30 points, consistently. Godwin, same thing. If AB sits, I mean, I think Godwin is going to be that person that we're looking at for, picking up a lot of those, PPR receptions and then just everything in the slot. And that being said, also want to look at Scotty Miller, someone else who might get a little more action. And as we saw last week, I mean, caught a touchdown in that big one in the last, 6 seconds of the half or something like that. So, I mean, he's had some big games too, good against slot receiver, good PPR guy. So there's potential there.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed about all these price tags is Antonio Brown's $6,200, which was really expensive in terms of snap count percentages. He's playing 40% of the snaps in his past 2 games. Well, the 2 games before that, last game he didn't play. Compare that to the $8,800 of Godwin and $8,400 of Mike Evans, where those guys are playing 80+% of the snaps. I don't like in terms of value. TJ, I don't know if you can agree with that.
Yeah, no, I do. For cash, I'm looking at Godwin and Evans. For tournaments, if AB's in, I'll obviously take some stabs at him because I do think it's a guy that can beat you over the top. So I will have some interest there. But again, more of tournaments. I don't think I would go there in cash. Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson would be 2 cheap plays that I would take, obviously, stabs at if AB is out. If AB is in, I don't think I'd have too much interest there. So, yeah, my interest in terms of cash only relies on I'm only interested in Godwin and Evans.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's not straightforward here from the wide receiver picture as opposed to the Kansas City Chiefs. Switching over to the tight end position, right now Cameron Brate is also questionable. So, Gronk, if Brate is out, Gronk is going to be very high owned, and it's Mr. Reliable, right, guys? So, Cameron Brate, if he does play, do you guys, I guess I'll start with you, TJ, do you like him at $4,800 if he does play? Right now he's showing 12.3% ownership.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's in, if he is good to go, I do like him at. He's a really good red zone target. Caught a touchdown last week against the Packers. Actually had 5 targets in comparison to Gronk's 1. So they've been using Gronk a lot in blocking purposes. And they've been really looking at a guy like Cameron Brate, especially when they get down to the red zone. So yes, I will have interest in Cameron Brate if he is good to go. If he's out, obviously we got to take chances on a guy like Gronkowski. I mean, it would just be way too cheap at $3K if he'd be the only tight end
very
there.
cheap.
So if Brate's good, yeah, I do like him at $4,800 again. Big red zone target, especially for Brady. And then, if he's out, then yeah, fire up Gronk at $3K.
You agree with that, Kevin?
Yeah, big time. I've been kind of high on Cameron Brate this whole playoffs. Like TJ alluded to, I mean, it's just they're using Gronk to block more, and you're seeing that in the production. I mean, he's had, I believe, 2 receptions this entire playoffs. So through those 3 games, Cameron Brate's at 11. So, they're playing at different levels right now. Yeah,
I completely agree with everything you just said. And we already talked about the kickers. Won't talk about the kickers here with Suck Up. And then defenses, guys. I just want to talk about defenses and showdowns. It never works unless they score touchdowns. I don't think that this game's going to have too many turnovers. And if they do, they're not going to result in touchdowns, guys. So avoid defenses. I would say have very limited exposure to them if you guys are going that direction. And that will end our breakdown, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the Super Bowl. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, please do it. That subscription button, notification bell, and also smash that like button for all of our future NFL content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.